because it's time for Nerdy for 30, the podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name, Kevin Bauer, a.k.a. The Critic's Choice. With me, as always, the people's champ, Tim Cack.
If you feel it, chase it, baby.
If you feel it, you must chase it. You have to. Today, we're chasing is 28 years later. The latest from Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. And I thought one hell of a movie. Tim, do you agree?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it. What'd you think of the first one? I don't know if we ever did it on the pod, but are you a big fan of 28 Days Later?
Oh, yeah, we did. No, we did 28 Days Later because I vividly remember, I can't separate this from the movie in my mind now. I vividly remember us trying to figure out what medical procedure he possibly was having done that required him to be not strapped down by anything, but full blown naked, dick out on the table.
God, yeah. I guess I should have re-listened to that for this pod. It feels like a little artsy fartsy to me.
The new one or the old one or both?
Both of them are a little artsy fartsy. Yeah. You know, they're like weird cuts to stuff. There's moments where, I don't know, they're doing one thing and then they just cut to something completely different. And it's like, you could have transitioned there, or, you know, or now we're just showing something else randomly. They just show random scenes. Yeah. But it's like not fully that. It's just occasionally they show a random scene. It's a little weird, but pretty fun. I mean, the zombie violence is great. Really enjoying it. I didn't realize Aaron Taylor Johnson was in this. I thought he was great. The kid's pretty good. And it's a fun world they've made. And I think I want to spend more time in this world and exploring this thing they've done and created in this habitat that the island has become 28 years after they've just been cut off from the rest of the world. I think it's a very fun idea. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. What did you think? You loved it.
I thought it was really good. It is artsy fartsy, but I think this is something where for some reason my brain likes it a lot when Danny Boyle does artsy fartsy. And I don't tend to like it as much as other people. It struck me as a little strange in the beginning when we're doing these cuts. It's everybody, you know, learning archery in the fields. And then we're cutting to medieval soldiers protecting Britain in the 1500s or whatever they were supposed to be from, also doing archery. And, you know, we get it. It's kind of interesting. I feel like a lot of times artsy fartsiness prides itself on being super esoteric, and you really have to work to figure out what they're trying to say. And I think it's funny that both in this and Monkey Man, it's like, yeah, you just kind of did the thing. Like Monkey Man keeps cutting to like howler monkeys in the jungle, and it's like, we get it, nature. And then here too, like the archers protecting England.
We understand. People have used archery to defend places before. We get it.
Yeah, it almost, if you read it wrong, it almost feels like they're trying to prove like, no, but they would still be able to do archery. And it's like literally Paleolithic weapon. Like, really, I believe it.
Everyone has done this.
It's
like once a year we go and do archery.
And that time is coming up. We're only about a couple
it's time for our October archery trip.
Oh my God. And they're gonna remember us. Yeah, so that was kind of funny to me, but I dug it. There were a couple moments in this that were so weird, but I loved it. Somehow they made it work. I felt like I was on fucking drugs during the sequence when they are running from the Alpha on the land bridge between the island and the mainland. And there's just the entire cosmos in the background and this crazy future music blaring. And then they're being chased down by this zombie. And they're running through these gates and the ground is water as far as we can tell. And it's just this feast for the eyes. And I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a dream sequence, if it was really happening at first. Like, it was so wild. You're not used to seeing that kind of thing be the real narrative in the movie. You're used to it having to be a dream sequence. So to have that be apparently a real thing that happened in the movie is buck wild.
That's interesting. I definitely thought that was part of the movie because it seemed like the only part of like the linear story. It seemed like part of the linear story. Mm-hmm. And then there's just random cutbacks to like some soldiers fighting these zombies. And then back to this. But this seemed like, oh, we saw them go out. We saw them do this. We saw them meet the Alpha. Now they're coming back. Now we're on the water. Now we're running back to the city. I was like, oh, this is logically tracking to me story wise. So it felt different. The main story felt a little different than all the other cuts back and forth. But even when they're all just hanging out and walking through the woods, it's like 8 different camera shots. They cut to a handheld scene where Aaron Taylor Johnson is just running and crying into the ocean, where he's just holding a camera and it's like close up on his face. And I'm like, what is this? What is, why do we need this? You know, like, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to mix it up. But part of me almost wishes it was more choppy then. Like, go full chop.
Like the first movie? Because the first movie was a little rough to watch at times.
The first movie was pretty rough to watch. I should have done like a rewatch for that, but I didn't really want to be honest. I didn't really want to do a rewatch, and I didn't really want to watch this one again, if I'm being honest.
Wow.
I'll watch some clips. I'll just go on TikTok and just see the highlights. But the choppiness, you know, there's a scene at the end with Ralph Fiennes, who I think is great in this. And they
Ray Fiennes?
Yeah. Ralph Fiennes, is that his name? I want to call him Phineas.
It's pronounced Ray Fiennes.
That doesn't look right at all. Ray Fiennes, the menu is out there being a weird doctor, and the whole argument is the whole movie is kind of an argument for euthanasia. So they finally euthanize his mom, and then he places the skull. He climbs a tower of skulls and puts his mom's skull at the top. And then they just cut to them being chased by the Alpha. And it's so abrupt. It was such an abrupt cut. It went from we're hanging out, having a nice time, and then all of a sudden we're being chased by this Alpha that we had the chance to kill a while ago. And now he's breaking through the floor and like attacking this guy. And it was just kind of chaotic that it was such a drastic skip that I didn't understand how it did that. And I kind of would have almost enjoyed this more if it was just kind of random clips from the island. What if it was like multiple stories and they were cutting back and forth between them?
Oh, like a found footage, almost like a VHS.
I'm thinking like found footage, or even just multiple storylines. Like, you see some of the story of Jamie taking Spike out, and then you cut back to a story of these troops trying to, when they first got to the island, and they're doing like show like a couple different stories and cross different timelines and just cut back and forth for them. Because if you're doing something like that, then I kind of understand why you're just making a drastic jump to a random action scene if they're them running away. You know, like I guess I don't understand their editing choices at all. I don't understand how any of that works. When do they decide to cut? It feels like kind of like, oh, well, we don't want to have to film all this. Like, we're gonna cut some time out of the budget, and we're just gonna cut to tomorrow. Like, it's okay.
All right, counterpoint. Because I liked it. It feels edgy to me, the way that things that are kind of like on the cusp of being more common do. And I think the cuts that were made in this were made in the interest of cutting out filler that we don't really need to see, because we can assume that, you know, if anything consequential happened in there, we would have seen it. So counterpoint, what if we didn't do such a severe cut right there, but in general, the movie's a half hour longer?
Ugh, it's like either way we lose.
I don't know. I like how they did it. It between the music that they picked, it's this band called Young Fathers. I guess they're like a Scottish, like basically experimental music group, and the soundtrack is wild. Like, even listening back to it, it's like, it feels like when they play the future music in Children of Men, when Michael Caine turns on like the stereo and it's like what music sounds like in the not too distant future, and it sounds crazy to us. Feels like that for the whole movie. And I think even this far into his career, I think he and Alex Garland both, or I'll give credit, maybe the credit here goes straight to the editor. They're good at doing things that push the boundaries and aren't necessarily locked into what we're used to already seeing. They're okay with fucking around and experimenting. And that's always cool to see. Like, I think I would rather see somebody do something weird like that than, just kind of allow this to play out at normal speed that we're used to and have it be 20 minutes longer. Like,
but they do a whole journey with him and his mom just walking through the grass, and it feels like we're with them the whole time. So then why not chop it up a little bit more? Why not just cut to a scene of them, you know, in the church? Why not just cut to a scene of them doing, like, just a little bit of consistency in this takes it from just a random impulse to a choice. And I can't tell the difference in this. I can't tell if they're making, There's just no consistency to the choices, I feel like. But at the same time, you know what it feels like? It feels like we're watching this pretty boring story of this guy and his mom going for a walk. And then they're just like, we need some violence. So then they just cut to a flashback of like a bunch of guys killing zombies. And they're like, okay, we're back. And then they're like, well, we need some violence. Okay, so let's do a flashback to zombies eating this guy. Okay, now we're back. It just seems like, I don't know. I can't tell if it's real artistic choices or just kind of like fear that they're operating from, you know. I don't know. I found it a little distracting. I did want to see more zombies dying. I don't know how invested I am in Sick Mom. But yeah, I was also going to ask you this question because in one of the flashbacks, these guys are chased by zombies. They lock themselves on like this fence, this like like a chain link fence. They lock themselves in, and then the alpha sneaks through the back and kills two of them and the alpha's obsessed with spines.
Oh yeah,
he loves ripping out the spines. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's how you can tell if it's an alpha. I like the idea of somebody doing like research and be like, this may or may not be an alpha. No way to tell until his spine is ripped out. And then he's like, there's my spine. This must be an alpha. But then, okay, so zombie, you're in this situation. You're behind a chain link fence. The zombies, the zombies are coming at you. How are you shooting them? Are you going to stand back away from the fence and then just shoot at the fence? Or I was like, why doesn't anybody ever stick the barrel of the gun like through the fence?
Yeah, I'm going muzzle through because otherwise it seems like Ricochet City. I don't know why all of them weren't just like riddled with bullet holes.
Yeah, it feels like it would deflect things. It would hurt the fence. It's got to hurt the fence somehow, right? It's like the odds are it's going to hit some part of the fence, or it's going to ricochet, or it's not going to be effective. I just always thought the bold spray at a chain link fence was a fascinating choice.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if it's like truly like, like chain link, because those are wide. Those are like, 3-inch squares in between each one of those gaps in the fence. This is, it's like tight. It's like security fencing.
Yeah, so security fencing.
I'm for sure trying to stick the nozzle through there. And also, if you can just pepper with bullets in the first place. Like, seems strange. I don't fully understand how this group of commandos landed on this island. I know they landed there by mistake. They're fully equipped. I don't fully understand the extent to which they got their shit rocked because they were able to get the alpha down with one javelin and like 6 other arrows. And Aaron Taylor Johnson was like, I've seen it take 12 arrows. And you know what shoots a lot more than 12 arrows is a machine gun. So feels like
a good guy with a gun could have saved everyone.
That's what we needed. It does feel like maybe, oh boy, maybe it was fear. Maybe the excuse is they were just too afraid. And so, they weren't, it's all the stuff Aaron Taylor Johnson was talking about, but these seem like they were Marines. So
it feels like they should have been able to take care of the zombie situation.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure how they haven't just murdered all the zombies or just like done a sweep or something like that. But then I guess they are reproducing.
I guess.
So because this one had a baby, and that implies that the alpha, I guess, is having sex with these other things and they are having babies, but then the baby is a human. So maybe these humans are having sex with these things, then like releasing them into the wild.
No way. It's for sure the alpha. It must be something like, there's no way just a human was like, well, I guess in the end of Shaun of the Dead, there's that thing where there's like a gossip show and someone's like, I mean, he's my husband. And she's like, you go to bed with it? So I guess
I'm going to bed with this alpha. It added about a foot to his penis.
Look, people are going to joke around a lot. That's too much penis.
That's too much peen. He's got a baseball bat between his legs.
It's Willem Dafoe. It's like how I think we've talked about this before. How apparently on the set of that one movie they had to give Willem Dafoe a prosthetic penis because his real penis looks comically large. Yeah, they just used Willem Dafoe for the body double for all the alphas in this movie. It's weird, man. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of this baby. I'll also say this. People were real on board with this baby in the narrative after the baby's born. I don't trust that baby as far as I can throw it. Are you kidding me?
Which is
This
pretty
thing's going
far.
to turn into like a zombie god. I mean, probably would be.
You
pretty
think
far.
so? You think it's going zombie god?
I think it could. I mean, if a zombie apocalypse happens, right? I'm going right to the scariest possible manifestation of that, which in my mind, it's a dead heat between The Last of Us and probably Resident Evil. Where in Resident Evil, they have the crazy, they start having like wall crawlers and ones where like their whole head and torso open up and that's the mouth. I mean, in Resident Evil, these zombies start turning into things from the movie The Thing. And I don't want to see that happen. And if you're in a world where a zombie apocalypse happened, that means the door is already open for shit you thought couldn't happen to happen. And we don't know how much wider that door is going to open. So I don't trust that baby. That thing came out of a zombie that cannot be trusted.
I think the baby's going to be Zombie Blade and have all the strengths and powers of an alpha, but the brain of someone who's not a beta brain.
I mean, you're just describing a man on steroids.
Yeah. No. It's going to be like, this will just be a baby on steroids.
It's just going to be half Thor Bjornsson, like the guy that just did the 510 kilogram lift.
Yeah, it'll just be that. And just a sweet little baby who's roided out and just super strong and can fist fight an alpha, but is still a human.
No, I don't trust that at all. I don't like that.
I want to see it though. I want to see it. How excited were you about the reveal of Jimmy? Was it Jimmy?
Not. I would say not at all. It was
they
an
teased
interesting
it the whole movie. They kept having graffiti with Jimmy. They said things with Jimmy. They're like, there's Jimmy. Jimmy's coming. And then the Power Rangers showed up.
Yeah,
the Aryan
Jesus
Power Rangers. And they're backflipping and doing all this stuff. The Swedes are rolling in, just kicking ass in tracksuits, like a weird, like a gang from Batman and Robin, and wearing neon. And
what's weird is that that's a gang that is themed around this British TV presenter whose name was Jimmy Savile. And I think most of this stuff came out after he died, but he was like a super famous TV presenter and like ran all these massive charities. And then after he died, after he was pretty much retired and very, very old and stuff, surprise, turns out huge creep, massive. I think he was like a pedo and like had assault accusations and just a really horrible guy, but was able to go through his whole life without getting busted because everybody's like, oh, look, what a great guy. Look at all these charitable things he's doing. So what's weird is this is a gang themed around that guy, like the tracksuits. That's what he used to wear.
So they're secretly nefarious as well.
Theoretically, but also
they're not to be
the
trusted.
World ended for Britain in 2000. I don't think we knew about him back then. So I think the world ended before. Like these people ostensibly could still think that Jimmy Savile is a good guy. And they probably also still like Bill Cosby.
That's really fun. They still think Harambe's alive.
Don't tell them.
It was kind of fun with the kid where Eric shows up and he's just like, oh yeah, this is a phone. And this guy's like, I've never seen a phone. And it's like, of course, we get it. It's like, what about the internet? He's like, what's the internet? I'm like, I get it. I understand. We don't need any more examples.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't know what anything is. He's been born and raised on this island that's completely cut off from everything. Seems kind of nuts. Seems kind of wild. They can't leave. No one's going to swing by in a boat and pick them up.
No, why would they? Like, they probably don't know if anybody's like basically a carrier of the virus on the island, you know?
So just punting on the whole
surprised, thing. Like, they just haven't like nuked it. Like, it feels like the world would have been like, so we nuke it, right? Like, it's almost more torturous to be like, well, we're not going to save the people on the island with the zombies, but we're going to let them go. See what they do. See how they do with it.
And zombies hate water, it turns out.
I mean, wouldn't you? Don't you really?
I love the water. I'm a water baby. If I had the option, I'd be in the water all the time.
Oh, that's right. You're a
long showers,
Floridian.
Deep baths, a nice soak. I love a good soak. So if I got turned into a zombie, would I suddenly like hate showers?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, most of the zombies don't look like they're showering.
That is a good point. That is a good point. None of these zombies take showers.
I wanted to ask about that.
Damn it.
How I mean, it's been 28 years. Are we supposed to believe that some of these zombies have been zombies for all 28 years? Because it's weird that they now have basically fallen into like categories. So Aaron Taylor Johnson calls the ones that all kind of look like giant babies like slow-lows, and they make weird like baby noises, like really high pitched like baby noises, and they crawl around. And I swear they were like playing sound effects. It was like childish in a really gross way.
So
and they were slimy.
Are they just fat people who got turned?
I think it might have been, but like they all also kind of looked alike. Like, I don't know if they just use one actor or if it's one of those things where after a certain point, you start taking on physical characteristics and like kind of morph to look like this.
They all look babyish.
Yeah, it's really weird. And at first, when they do the first raid, I think there's 4 Slow-Los. And it was immediately after they showed us the Teletubbies. And I was like, is that a weird Teletubbies callback that we saw? Like, because the Slow-Los have vaguely Teletubby shaped bodies.
What was the point of the Teletubbies? What did we get out of the Teletubbies?
Well, the gang at the end, the Jimmies, they were in the colors of
colored
Teletubbies.
outfits like the Teletubbies. Yeah. This is a lot of buildup for Jimmy, who I don't know. Are they going to make another movie? Like their plan is to make another movie.
This is the first of a trilogy, my man. The next one comes
out
next year.
This is the first of a trilogy?
Yeah.
I did think the whole time, I'm like, Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to show up again.
Yeah.
The whole time. He's going to come after them. They make a whole thing about how he's not going to rescue them. And now that he didn't, he's 100% going to be in the sequel.
Yes. I thought he was the one in the nighttime sequence where the Slow-Lo was crawling up on Spike. And we just see the cut where somebody throws a bag over its head and kills it. I thought that was going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson. And he was just watching from a distance, which, by the way, that scene made me think. There were a lot of times in this movie where I felt like, based on what was happening on screen, I should feel tense. And I never did once. I felt suspense, but I never felt that thing that you get in horror movies sometimes where it's like, get out, get out, get out. Oh my God, that thing's coming, get out. I never felt any of that physically, but I did feel the suspense of the moment. What is that? How come we didn't feel that with this movie?
I don't know. Somehow in this movie, there's like no stakes. Like, it didn't feel like that kid could die. It didn't feel like the mom was going to die. And it's just the two of them and then this guy, Eric. And I'm like, well, this guy will die for sure. They introduced a guy to kill him. And then maybe there's suspense with Ray Fiennes, however you say his name.
You know,
but then Ray Fiennes, gotta admit, they meet Ray Fiennes. I was like, this guy's going to be weird. Not weird at all.
No. Super normal.
Normal, well-adjusted, isolated man for 16 years who's just been burning corpses and stacking bones and otherwise very healthy, mentally with it individual.
Yeah. What's he been eating? I mean, he feels like he has like I don't know, he's probably composting somehow and he feels like he's got a good garden going. And then he shows them the Bone Temple, which is the most batshit crazy stuff I've ever seen. And yet he's so well adjusted. You're like, maybe this is a good tribute. The French did it with the catacombs. Maybe this is what we should all be doing.
Everyone needs a hobby.
I guess I did think it was really quick to go from like, Spike, your mother's going to die. When? Soon. To be like, actually, now. So, Spike, we've given you this news. We're going to shoot you up with morphine real quick. And then I'm going to be back in about 15 minutes and you're going to get to soak that skull. How's that sound?
It is weird. And the mom seemed on board with this immediately.
Yeah.
She wanted it too.
She was in pain, man. She was miserable.
I guess she reveals that she's been in pain and thought it was cancer and was dying this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Which then also, like, why can't she tell him? But also she doesn't know. So Jamie, the dad, I like his character. I think he's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess one of the big pain points in the movie for Spike is that his dad cheats on his mom, has an affair with this girl. I feel like, cheating's always not right. But if you're taking care of a wife who has just been in bed, sick, and doesn't know who she is half the time, and you want to sneakily go off and hook up with somebody, I don't think it's the worst possible situation in the world, right?
Tim, you're a monster.
I would almost feel worse if he was having sex with his wife. I feel that would be
not gonna. Yeah, that's not okay.
Weirder. Yeah. Way weirder than him just hooking up with this person who I guess they also imply she is also in a relationship with somebody, but we don't know their deal. We don't know their situation. And I did think the son being so mad at his dad is childish. It's a childish view. But he's a kid. So he's 12. So he doesn't know what's going on. He just like, oh, this is bad. You must hate us. But the way at the beginning of the movie, she calls for him, and you can see in the reflection of the mirror that he's about to go up the stairs, and he like hangs his head and is just like takes a moment to like psych himself up for it and then go up the stairs and turn it on. It's like, this has been happening a long time. This is an exhausted person. He's been sacrificing for his kid. He, bacon comes by. He doesn't want the bacon. He's giving that to somebody else. He cares about his son. He wants the son to have the bacon. The son also wants the mom to have the bacon. So she leaves the bacon for her. He leaves the bacon for her. And then they go out and they risk their lives and they're fighting all these guys. And the dad has to do all the heavy lifting. Spike's useless. And I guess I understand how this guy would go out, fight for his life, nearly die, come back and want to get drunk and hook around and fool around. That seems pretty logical to me. Near death experience. I'm going to party. I'm going to celebrate. My son's crossed the threshold of being a man. I'm going to party. And then I come back, a little time to myself. I come back and now I'm like, correct. I feel bad about this because I don't, I'm very, very anti-cheating.
Uh-huh.
But in the post-apocalyptic world, this is as sympathetic a cheater as I feel like I've ever seen.
Which tells me that they're gonna try to bring Aaron Taylor Johnson in this universe back to us yet. That to me is like he's not perfect. I mean, this is a guy who then slaps Spike and then like punches a couple holes in the wall, which seemed to suggest like he definitely has some anger issues he needs to work out as well.
I think he's fascinating because he is a product of his environment. Also, I guess we don't really know how great of a man he is, but I feel like he's sticking by his family for the most part and loves his son. And then is also someone who is capable of going out and mercilessly murdering people these zombies that were formerly people and feel nothing. Right. And like compartmentalize that. And I think that's a pretty hard thing to do. I mean, it's like PTSD, he comes home and it would make sense to me that guy can't process his emotions or regulate his emotions the same way like one of us around here has gone. I don't know. It just makes him, I just think he's fast. I think he's the most fascinating character in this. The kid, I don't know if I really care. The mom is just like she's dying. It's sad. It's sad that mom's sick. And then the doctor is just knows everything about the world. He's wise beyond our knowing. And, diagnoses the mom and then does this weird thing. And then Spike walks back, zero problems. He brings the baby back, doesn't encounter any zombies. They've been running from zombies the whole time. The alpha chases them underground and they're like, I guess it's time for you to leave. And now he's just gone. The alpha isn't a problem. He just walks all the way home, drops off the baby, then just turns around and goes fishing and then starts eating some. I don't know. I think the dad's struggle and character is so interesting and flawed and bad and good and interesting that it seems kind of crazy to me that he's like kind of backlined for the rest of the story. That is, the characters are mid, I don't care. I was excited when Eric showed up just because it's like, oh, this is another good bad guy. This is another ambiguous, something. And Jodie Comer, she bags the zombie and then murders him. And I'm like, oh, there's something else here. There's nothing else. See
more of this? No, we never saw it. That was really strange. That was really strange that we just never saw any more of that. Yeah, it's kind of an abrupt ending. It makes sense at the end that it was aiming for more movies, but it does feel a little bit like I remember God, I'm so sorry to bring this back to Marvel, but I remember that there was a thing when they announced that Infinity War was being split up into two movies to be Infinity War and Endgame. And it was originally Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, and they decided to split the movies into different names. And they asked Kevin Feige why, and he was like, because these are two different movies. Each one of them has their own like beginning, middle, and end. And that made me think that Infinity War alone was going to be the entire resolution to that story. And
Yes.
around the time we get to Wakanda was around the time I was like, they're not wrapping this up. Like, this is not going to be like a Thanos defeat here. Like, this is part 1. And realizing that you're watching a part 1 is always a little deflating.
I don't know if I guess I always thought that was a possibility, but I don't know if I necessarily had that realization during watching Infinity War in the theater. Like, Thor shows up, and once Thor shows up, you're like, oh shit, okay, this guy could actually die. Thor's gonna kick his ass. You know, Hulk could come back. It just felt like there was still a lot of possibilities, and we were still ramping up. Whereas this movie feels like it's a story, it ends, and then it turns out the whole point of this was just to introduce Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it opens with Jimmy and then it closes with Jimmy, and then they hint at Jimmy the whole time. So then why do we do all this other stuff?
I mean, to show a deeper story about a person, Spike, who is our audience surrogate, going through this crazy world and acting in accordance with faith. He had faith that the doctor would be able to do something to help. This is a very religious movie. I haven't fully done the intellectual legwork to unpack how and why. One could argue I should have done that before getting on a podcast. I didn't. But, we open in a church. Jimmy at the end is wearing an upside down cross. There's a couple different cathedrals in the movie itself.
A lot of churches.
We have an immaculate conception, kind of. We have a baby that survives despite everything.
Yeah. It's weird, man. It is weird. And then I was thinking at the beginning, with his dad as a priest and basically views what is happening where the zombies are coming in and murdering everybody as a revelation. What did he refer to that as?
Rapture?
As the rapture.
Yeah. And
I feel like I've seen similar characters like that before, where they're just like, this bad thing is happening, but it's the rapture. And now I'm like 100% convinced if that was happening, there would be people like this.
Oh yeah.
It would be a shocking number of people would be like, oh, this is God. This is the rapture. And it's like, I just watched them tear someone apart with their teeth.
Yeah.
They're fighting over his spleen. And you're telling me that's the rapture? Well, sorry, I don't want to get raptured.
I mean, totally. At time of recording, there are still people in this world who think that maybe the rapture is still going to happen today.
That's true. We're recording on Rapture Day.
Yeah. So, they're out there. Just watched a thing that is really interesting and really enjoyed. I'll say that I enjoyed it more than this. I think that's fair. Midnight Mass on Netflix. So we'd previously watched The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, both terrific, both fantastic. Big fan of what Mike Flanagan did with both his adaptations. Midnight Mass was original, and wow, is that good. Wow, is that show good. 7 episodes, makes some connections with religion that are right there. And I've never in any of my like reading of Hellboy or any of that kind of stuff seen anyone make these types of connections with obvious religious texts. And it's pretty fucking impressive. So the Rapture comes up there, and I do got to say, it's not a competition, but they did do it better.
And Jesus was a zombie.
Jesus was a zombie, famously. That's a real...
The most famous zombie?
Gotta be. Gotta be. I can't think of a more famous zombie.
That song by the Cranberries? It's an honorable mention, but not in the same ballpark. Not in the same league.
The same ballpark. That's crazy. The only one that I think would even be close is the Zombies and Plants versus Zombies. But I think Jesus probably takes it.
What about the zombies from Minecraft? Everyone loves Minecraft.
Everybody does love Minecraft. Chicken.
Are there zombies in Harry Potter? There aren't.
There are actually. They do mention zombies a couple times, but they never appear in the narrative of the stories.
Harry Potter read more than the Bible, so that could be our famous zombies area.
All they needed was to list one, and it would have been.
All they needed was one zombie character.
There probably was one, and we just didn't know about it. But you know about the last thing I want to do right now is dive back into Harry Potter.
Why wasn't there a zombie wizard? It's prejudice.
They got one on Jesus Christ.
What?
They got one on
in the Bible.
We got the
zombie wizard,
the zombie witch, and well, I won't spoil it, but Marvel's got a couple zombie witches. That's cool.
Oh, true. That's pretty neat. Yeah. I love that. I love witches. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah. Strange so Academy. Would you real quick Thief?
Thief probably that scene. I got to go with that scene with the cosmos in the background. It really blew my mind. Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to go with the ashes, the like spiral of ashes rising up in the Bone Temple. That was a really cool scene.
Ooh, that was really cool. They shot the Bone Temple really well. I loved him looking at the sunset with his mom's skull. I actually thought, I was like, this is kind of beautiful. This is kind of a great moment. And although I don't understand it, Jimmy and his crew showing up at the end, the best zombie fighting we got the whole time. They've got all these weird weapons and they're like chainsaw. They're like bow drilling this zombie's neck off. They've got a whole routine. They've got somebody with sticks just like knocking them over. That was somehow the most entertaining. I don't think it tonally was not anywhere close to this movie.
No,
but
no,
but it was also pretty cool. That's the part where I was like, what is this?
Insane.
This is a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh yeah. That would be like if the gang from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia showed up in The Wire. Like that is about the biggest tonal mismatch you could possibly get. Yeah, that was crazy. Good time though, man.
Good time.
It was very different from what I thought, and I really liked it. Listener, what did you think? Let us know. Send us an email, nerdy430@gmail.com. We'll read it on the show. We'll be back here again next week talking about Fat Bear Week.
Fat Bear.
Get online, get voting. It's happening now. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Stay nerdy. Bye.
Bye. Stay nerdy.